those who will never forget, to the minds that wander and the hands that guide them home, to the memories that slip away and to the hearts that hold on tighter. You see, Alzheimer's doesn't just take, it reveals what truly matters. It shows us the courage in vulnerability, the strength in the smallest acts of kindness. It's not just a disease, it's a journey of love, patience, and resilience. And while the mind may fade, the love never does. To the caregivers, the fighters, the advocates, thank you. You are the beacons of light in the darkness. In every forgotten name, there's an unforgettable impact. Together we walk, together we remember, together we fight. Because love never forgets.
And we're honored to have with us today the Vice President of Programs and Services at the Alzheimer's Association, National Capital Area Chapter. She brings with her a lot of expertise in Alzheimer's disease and dementia education, caregiver support, and program outreach. She leads impactful initiatives across education programs, caregiver services, and early-stage memory groups. With over 10 years of leadership and consulting experience and as a licensed nursing home administrator in Maryland, she has dedicated her career to supporting caregivers and families affected by Alzheimer's and dementia. Today, she'll be sharing valuable insights and strategies for managing and coping with Alzheimer's, along with the essential resources available to caregivers. Please join me in welcoming Sheila Griffith.
Good morning, everyone, and thank you for joining us. My name is Sheila Griffith. I'm the Vice President of Programs and Services at the National Capital Area Chapter of the Alzheimer's Association. And so our chapter, I'll just let you know, is a chapter territory of Washington, D.C., Northern Virginia, Montgomery County, Maryland, Prince George's County, Maryland, and the Southern Maryland counties. So we have a pretty big chapter and a lot of opportunities to share education like today. So today I'm going to talk to you about Alzheimer's disease and dementia in our community. And I hope this will be an informative program that, and I hope you'll be able to share some resources that you learned from this, this education, as well as contacting organizations like Visiting Angels to maybe get help with a loved one who might have this diagnosis. So we'll just move right into the presentation. Just advance my slide. Okay, so here's some great facts and figures. This is an infographic that I think really helps people understand how much this disease affects many people we know. So nearly 7 million people now are Americans are living with Alzheimer's disease. So this, if you've seen programs like mine here today before, this number seems to be growing every year. So we're at almost 7 million Americans living with this disease. And you can see several of the infographic squares here will tell you that 1 in 3 seniors dies from Alzheimer's disease or dementia, and that it kills more people than breast cancer and prostate cancer combined. So this is a disease with large numbers, and often people have dementia or Alzheimer's disease in addition to another condition as well. And if you look over in the second line of our infographic, over 11 million Americans provide unpaid care to their loved ones living with this disease. So this is a really sobering statistic. This is not the paid care that we so often use as well, but this is the unpaid care, the unpaid, the people who are living, family, friends, partners who are living with people who have this diagnosis. So I can tell you also that this is costing us so many dollars. In 2024, Alzheimer's and other dementia will cost the nation $360 billion. And by 2050, these costs could rise to nearly $1 trillion. So this is staggering. And you might wonder, well, why is it so costly to care for somebody with this disease? And even with the high number of unpaid caregivers, why is it still so costly? And it's costly even with the unpaid caregiving and with the paid caregiving. When somebody has this diagnosis of Alzheimer's disease, unfortunately, it's progressive and we don't have a cure right now. So people will go from the early stages to needing, minimal care to eventually needing full care. So needing a facility, oftentimes like a skilled nursing center, or full-time help, paid help in the home. So this can be obviously very costly. So I want to just introduce you to the Alzheimer's Association. Our mission is to lead the way to end Alzheimer's and all other dementia by accelerating global research, driving risk reduction and early detection, and maximizing quality care and support. So one of the things that we're asked fairly often when we do these types of community education programs is, what's the difference between Alzheimer's disease and dementia? We kind of use these terms together. Do they mean the same thing? Do they mean different things? And I think this slide really can show you a lot of information about dementia, first of all. So we consider dementia an umbrella term. You can see it's a term for loss of memory and other thinking abilities that, and here's the catch, are severe enough to interfere with our daily life. So we might all have some memory loss from time to time, or maybe we've got too much on our mind and are, really not getting through the day the best way we can. It's not necessarily dementia until it really interferes with our daily life. And you can see on the right-hand side of the slide that there's types of dementia, and Alzheimer's disease is one type. So dementia is an umbrella term that is kind of a general term, but it's also a way to type different diseases of dementia. So you can see Alzheimer's is the top disease underneath on that slide on the right-hand side. And that's because most people with dementia have Alzheimer's disease. And then you can see vascular, Lewy body, frontotemporal, other, including Huntington's, and mixed dementia. And these all sort of get less and less raindrops next to them, where there's less people who have frontal temporal lobe dementia than have Alzheimer's disease. That's the most common form of dementia. But what is Alzheimer's disease specifically? So Alzheimer's is a brain disease that causes problems with memory, thinking, and our behavior. And the symptoms eventually grow severe enough to interfere with our daily tasks. So unfortunately, we see this happening, and we might be not really noticing in ourselves as much as we might notice it in our somebody, a loved one, or a family member or partner. It's not something that's going to go away. It's not something we should ignore if we see things like problems with memory, thinking, and behavior. We should all understand that Alzheimer's is a progressive disease where the symptoms gradually worsen over a number of years. I've known people with an Alzheimer's disease diagnosis that they lived anywhere from 2 years to 20 years. So some people, it happens very quickly, and they might pass away from Alzheimer's. Some people, it goes on for many more years. You can see in the last bullet, in the early stages, memory loss is mild, but as a disease progresses, individuals will need around-the-clock care. And the disease is ultimately fatal. So when you're in the end stages of this disease, you'll eventually need somebody with you 24 hours a day. You'll need help with every activity of daily living, but eventually parts of your brain will be affected, and it will come to eventually not being able to swallow any longer. And that's in the very end stages of the disease. So you could probably understand why this is such a costly disease as well. I wanted to just show you some, this is a great slide showing some of the populations at higher risk. This is a very informative slide, I think, many times. You can see that Black Americans are twice as likely to develop Alzheimer's disease or another dementia. Hispanic Americans are 1.5 times as likely, and almost 2/3 of Americans living with Alzheimer's disease are women. So these are, statistics that may not be well known. Any communities of color are obviously more at risk, and the question is, why are they at higher risk? And right now, research is showing that it could have something to do with underlying conditions, maybe a high rate of diabetes, high rate of hypertension. And a lot of our community education here at the Alzheimer's Association, we talk about how to lower the risk, no matter what your community is or what population you're in. How do I lower the risk? And lowering those or taking care of those underlying conditions can really make a difference in your brain health. So at the Alzheimer's Association, we really want people to understand that it's going to help. Whatever can help your heart can help your brain. So being heart healthy can help you be brain healthy. And having good brain health should be important to all of us. A lot of times people ask, well, what about that 2/3 of Americans with Alzheimer's are women? What is that about? And many people will say, well, it's probably, or they might guess, it's probably because women live longer. And this might have been true at one point, but I think now the things have changed a lot where men's health has improved a lot. Men are living longer, but we still have a higher rate of a higher risk of Alzheimer's disease for women. So research is showing us now that it's something in the biology of women. It's not just that women are living longer, it's something in our biology. So that's also something that research is, there's a lot of research on now. So what is the impact of Alzheimer's on caregivers? This is, as I said earlier, there's a lot of unpaid caregivers. Almost over 11 million Americans provide unpaid care. This can be very difficult. Caring for someone with Alzheimer's disease can take a physical, emotional, social, and financial toll on the caregiver, as well as the whole family and sometimes the whole community. It really is in a disease that is not localized to one person or one person getting their care. It's really got to be a larger circle of community that helps care for somebody with Alzheimer's disease. We need to get a lot of pieces in to care for people. Of the total lifetime cost of caring for someone with dementia, 70% is borne by the family caregivers, either through out-of-pocket expenses or from unpaid caregiving. So if you've known somebody with Alzheimer's disease or dementia, you probably know this, that there is not a lot of insurance that covers Alzheimer's disease care. And so this is something that there's no other choice but for the caregivers and the person living with the diagnosis to be paying out of pocket. You can see 59% of family caregivers rated the emotional stress of caregiving as high or very high. So there's a lot of unpaid caregivers providing this care to their loved ones, but in some instances, it's pretty specialized care, and it can be very stressful for one person to really take care of another person with this disease 24/7. That is a big job for any caregiver to do for their loved one. So in addition to people asking us, well, what's the difference between Alzheimer's disease and dementia? And we've already gone over that with the umbrella slide and about Alzheimer's disease. But this is another good one where people ask, well, what should I be looking for? What should I look for in myself or my loved one or anybody that I might be worried about? So this is a great slide just to think about and keep in mind if you're worried about somebody that you think might be having some signs of Alzheimer's. And I should let you know that anything you see today, you can find on our website at alz.org. And you can find out more about the 10 warning signs, or you can find out more about dementia, or maybe find out more about caregiving, any of those topics and more on our website, alz.org. But let's take the first one in our discussion. This is a real cornerstone for there's something wrong, and it could be Alzheimer's disease. And that's that memory loss that disrupts daily life. And I talked about that before. We really have to be aware of that we all forget things from time to time, but this is just not forgetting once in a while. It's really forgetting so that it disrupts your life. You really are not able to find your car keys. You're really not able to find your car. You need to take an Uber home or call a relative to come get you because you just can't remember where your car is. You do that enough times, and this is disrupting your daily life as well as other people's daily lives. So what's happening here? Why can't you remember this type of thing? So it's that memory loss that really is becoming disruptive. Challenges in planning or solving problems. So depending on how the disease is progressing, if it's Alzheimer's disease, it might affect my brain a little differently than it affects someone else's. So maybe my memory loss is not so bad. I still have little tricks that I can use to remember things like where things are, or how I'm going to get through my schedule. But I have a challenge in planning or solving problems. So as soon as I'm off my routine, I'm not going to be able to cope with that. I don't have that planning mechanism any longer. That executive functioning maybe is being really compromised by the disease. The third one, difficulty completing familiar tasks. So there are things that we've done all along, maybe balancing a checkbook, or making a favorite meal, or even just going to the grocery store and doing our grocery shopping. All of a sudden, these very familiar things that we've been doing for many, many years, 30, 40 years, are not familiar to us anymore. We're kind of lost in it. Like, what am I baking again? What am I making? How do I get home from the grocery store? How do I do grocery shopping in the grocery store? Where do I go first? Even though you've been going there for years, it's all of a sudden unfamiliar. The fourth one, confusion with time and place. We see this pretty frequently also, where I'm losing track of what day it is. I'm not really tracking myself well, maybe on a calendar. So you and I have a date to meet for lunch on Friday. I don't show up. You call me and you say, "Where are you? You're supposed to be here for lunch." And I say, "Today's not Friday, today's Monday." And it's Friday. You know it's Friday. I'm supposed to be there, but I am thinking it's Monday, or I'm thinking it's, 2 weeks from now. So it's this confusion. I can't get that straight. I can't get myself straight with time and place. Number 5, trouble understanding visual images and spatial relationships. Often people with Alzheimer's disease, as a result of having problems with visual images. I am seeing things, my eyesight is okay, but I can't make out, is that a curb there, or is that a hole? And I might be avoiding just a straight line because it doesn't look right to me. I'm having trouble understanding those images. People with this issue, and really people who have a diagnosis of Alzheimer's disease in general, are at high risk for falling because of this visual image and spatial relationship problem. It's not that I can't see anymore. It's that that part of my brain is affected by the disease, and I'm not able to. It's not effective for me any longer. So I have to be very careful, and I need to have help being careful probably with that. New problems with words and speaking or writing. This is definitely going to happen. I've heard many people say where, you write little lists for people to do, or little sticky notes, and this helps a lot for a lot of people, maybe for a long time. But people who get affected in problems with words and speaking and writing, that doesn't help them. They can't read the words and know what that means, or go down the list and understand what they're doing next. Those things, that's affecting them primarily, and it's not effective for them anymore to read, or even having things spoken to them can be confusing as well. How about number 7? This is another common one. Misplacing things and losing the ability to retrace your steps. This is a big one in anybody who is just growing older. And sometimes we have trouble. We can't remember where we last had our checkbook, or if we even have a checkbook anymore, or where were our keys, or, where did I leave the dog's leash? That ability in our brain to retrace our steps and say, okay, the last time I had my keys, I couldn't get in the garage, so I came in the side door, and maybe the keys are over there, and I got out of my routine a little bit yesterday when I came home, so I can look in these places. That ability can be affected by the disease, and we can lose that ability to retrace steps. Decreased or poor judgment, for sure, with somebody with an Alzheimer's diagnosis. We see this more and more often, that we're having to help them with everything to do with their finances, maybe because they're giving money away, or they're just not being a good judge of what to do with money or what to pay. So we see this a lot in seniors in general, but definitely in anybody with Alzheimer's disease. And the last two, 9 and 10, withdrawal from work or social activities, and changes in mood or personality. They go hand in hand. I've seen that happening as a result of maybe one or two or more of these warning signs. As a result, I'm probably going to start withdrawing from social activities. And if I'm still working, I'm not going to be an effective worker on the job. I'm going to have too many places where I've missed or forgotten. So I'm going to start withdrawing from things to just try to separate myself from, doing these things that I either can't remember or I'm uncomfortable even trying anymore. And as a result, you might think that I have a change in personality a bit. Maybe I was very outgoing and very social and always involved in social activities, maybe with my family or on my own. And then all of a sudden you see me kind of do an about face where I'm becoming withdrawn because I'm not comfortable anymore. I don't remember the lunch dates, and I don't remember maybe, some of the other things that I used to do socially. So it really affects me. And I don't want to be out there doing it any longer. So these 10 warning signs, I want to stress that you might see one or two, or you might see more than that. And you definitely want to bring it to somebody's attention. If it's you who you're noticing it in yourself, see your doctor and talk about these 10 signs and what's happening. You don't have to have all 10 signs to have a diagnosis of Alzheimer's disease. It could just be one or two. And if that's enough to be a warning sign to you, to try to go and talk to your doctor about what you're seeing in yourself or your loved one. And here's a great slide just talking about early detection. So if you do notice one of these things, or two or three or five of these signs, getting that checked out by a doctor, and pay attention to this behavior in yourself or others, and take action by seeing a doctor, talking with a doctor, or maybe talking with your family to see what they think. And the benefits are that you have more time to plan for the future. This isn't a surprise diagnosis 8 years later. When you notice things happening 8 years ago, that's the time to start planning for the future, look at treatment options, maybe participate in a clinical trial, or and just being involved in the decisions about your care. And because, as we learned already in this program, you will need care. If it's Alzheimer's disease, you'll need progressive care, and you want to be part of that planning for your own care. This is a slide. Let's talk about treatments for Alzheimer's disease. You may have heard in the news recently, we've had a lot of progress in treatment for Alzheimer's disease. There's no cure yet, but there are now new drugs on the market that seem to be affecting the biology of the disease more than they ever were in the past. So some of the past treatments were on the market for probably 30 or 40 years, a lot of pills that helped people with certain symptoms of Alzheimer's disease, might have helped with the memory loss, didn't cure it, didn't stop it, but might have helped with some of the symptoms. And now some of the treatment options are IV or intravenous treatment options, as I said. New treatments that just coming out in the last couple of years that seem to be affecting the biology of the disease. So that could be something, and we hope here at the Alzheimer's Association that we will have drugs that stop the progression and hopefully do cure it eventually. So hopefully I can come back and tell you about the cure for Alzheimer's. But if you look on this slide, you can see to learn more about specific treatments going on right now and what the options are, alz.org/treatments. And as I said, our website, alz.org, just really has a lot of information for everyone. So we talked earlier, I talked about maybe lowering the risk and keeping brain health, in our minds at all times. So there are things we can control and we can increase some of these healthy habits. And research is showing that it may lower the risk of cognitive decline and possibly dementia. And as I said, overall, what is good for the heart is good for the brain. And it's never too late or too early. So here, let's take control of our brain health. Here are some ideas from the Alzheimer's Association. Staying in school, being a lifelong learner and challenging your mind all the time. Get moving, eat right, maintain a healthy weight, control blood pressure, manage diabetes. A lot of the things you're probably told in your doctor's appointments, I'm sure. Protect your head. Anybody with a history of concussions or any kind of injury to the head could be at higher risk for Alzheimer's disease or dementia. So please protect your head. Sleep well and be smoke-free. All things you can do to take charge of your brain health. So I want to talk a little bit about how we're making a difference in our community. So if you don't know this already, the Alzheimer's Association has a helpline, a 24/7 helpline, and you can see the number on the slide here, 800-272-3700. And it's available around the clock. And it's for anybody who has a question about Alzheimer's disease. Maybe you saw this today, this program, and maybe you have a loved one who you may be getting the diagnosis or has the diagnosis. And oftentimes we'll get a call on the helpline to just say, I'm not sure of what my next steps are, either my next steps or maybe I'm calling as a caregiver on behalf of my loved one. What should our next steps, what should we look for? What should we do? And this is a free of charge, confidential support call. And it's answered by not just an operator, but a social work clinician who is available to give you those answers right away. It doesn't have to be, putting you on hold or anything else. It could be somebody giving you ideas about research, about resources, about support. You need support in your community. They can go ahead and send you some ideas either on email or through the mail about anything you need in your community, either locally or on a national level. And then you can also see we provide free education and support. Just like today, this program is completely free, and it's about just raising awareness in our community about the impact of this disease. And as I said earlier, you can go to alz.org and see all of this information and more. It's a great research tool if you're looking into Alzheimer's disease and dementia. So we want you to join us today. There's so many great activities that the Alzheimer's Association is part of. You've heard of the Walk to End Alzheimer's that's coming up very shortly. In our chapter, in the National Capital Area chapter, our first walk is this Saturday on the 21st, and it's in Charles County, Maryland. Our big Walk to End Alzheimer's is at the end of the month on September 28th, and it's down in Washington, D.C. on the Mall. And we hope if you haven't been to this walk, you should try to get there. It's a great place to just feel like you're fighting back against the disease, trying to raise money for research. That's one of the primary goals of the Walk to End Alzheimer's is to raise money for research, but also to build community, to meet others who are in our position, caring for somebody with this disease or maybe diagnosed with this disease. And I want to add, Visiting Angels is a great supporter of the Walk to End Alzheimer's. So you'll see them there as well and can visit with them at their table. And to find a complete list of all of our walks. So in our chapter, we hold 6 walks to end Alzheimer's. And as I said, beginning this Saturday, but if you go to act.alz.org, you can find a list of all the walks in our chapter. And I hope you'll be able to join one or just contribute to one. So, and we always like to tell people how you can help. So if you want to get involved with us, as I said, as an organization or a group or a business or an individual, join a walk team, host an education program, just share resources, tell people about seeing this education today, and maybe somebody you think could use this knowledge to go to alz.org and help them find the education, because it's an education. Knowledge is power. And anytime we're diagnosed with any disease, we should always try to get educated about it and learn what we can about it. And sharing with your community our helpline number and obviously our alz.org. And we also have a community resource finder on alz.org that can help with finding more support in your community. And I just want to close here with our founder, Jerome Stone, saying, do things here and now, not after you're gone. If you have some money, share it. And if you have some time, do something worthwhile. So we think that's really a great motto to live by. And last, our vision is a world without Alzheimer's and all other dementia. So thank you for joining us today. That's our presentation. I'm going to go ahead and stop sharing. And I want to thank you for joining us for this education today. And I hope that you will, as I said, go to our website, alz.org, to learn more about what you can do or what walk you can join or get more education about Alzheimer's disease and dementia. So I thank you for being here today.
Thank you very much. Thank you so much, Sheila, for sharing your invaluable insights and expertise with us today. And we truly appreciate the time you've given to help us better understand Alzheimer's. And of course, let us know about the resources available for those who need them, of course. Anyway, we still have so much in store for you, ladies and gentlemen. I'll be inviting a sweet angel of ours, Barbara, to share more about exciting details about the Walk to End Alzheimer's event. Something you shouldn't and you don't want to miss, of course. Okay.
Well, thank you all for joining us today. I am so excited to tell you about September 28th. It's a Saturday. Please put it on your calendar. We have a couple things I want to share with you today. First of all, if you want to walk with us, please do. We want you to come down to the mall. It's awesome. It's going to be a beautiful day. I can just see it right now. And taking that simple walk, there's no hills. It's all one flat area. We're going to have a table down there, the music. There's all kinds of treats and free gifts. So when you come down, it's so motivating. But we are going to make a difference. We are going to beat this Alzheimer's, but we need your help. We definitely need your help. So if you can't come and join us and walk, if you want to, we have some shirts for you. We are having shirts for $10, so you can wear your shirt and be part of the team. So get with us, and you can purchase your shirt. If you want to purchase a shirt and just wear it as support, you can do that with a donation. Please take your phones and scan the QR code that is on the screen. Just pull up your camera. Everybody, if you have a cell phone nearby, pull your camera up. The QR code is going to do everything for you. And if you've got your cell phone up there, please hold it up. It's going to pull up on your camera, and then you just click on that QR code, and it'll take you directly to our website. And you can either donate and walk. Do both. I would encourage you. And there's also a link on the right-hand side. As you can see there, it's bit.ly/angels for all ALZ 2024. You can copy that link. Dexter, why don't you go ahead and put that in the chat for everyone, just in case they can get it off the flyer. But if you put that link in the chat, they can just click on that and that will take you there as well. We have a goal that we're looking to meet. We are one of the top 10 Visiting Angels franchises in this area. We are a winning team. So you want to be part of a winning team. We have been doing this for over 20 years. We know what we're doing, and we all need to come together to make a difference. 1 in 3 people have some type of Alzheimer's and dementia, and the funds really do matter. You think, well, I'm just giving money for a cause. We don't care how much, if it's $5, $10. If you want to bless us with $100 or $1,000, please. Every little bit helps. You can make a difference. So we're reaching out to you to join with us. Who do you know? There's got to be a family member, a mother, a father, a sister, or brother, an auntie or an uncle, a grandmother or a grandfather, a neighbor or a friend. You know someone who has this disease. And I'll just take a few minutes to share with you one of the main reasons why I'm involved with Visiting Angels. And I will share this because my mom had Alzheimer's. I am a certified dementia practitioner. And the reason why I joined this is because I wanted to keep my mom at home. And I'm hoping that anyone listening to this or viewing this today, if you have a loved one or someone that you know that needs help, please try to reach out to us. The caregivers taking care of them can get burnt out. It's hard when you're trying to work a job, take time off. You're worried about your loved one. You're scared that they're going to be there by themselves, that something will happen. We don't want you to feel guilty. There's no shame in asking for help. It takes courage to step up and say we need help. So that's what we are here for. We are angels. We are doing God's work. So please reach out, ask for more information, but you can take a break. We also can connect you with programs. The respite program in Montgomery County, if you live in Montgomery County, can help provide funds at no cost. If you are a caregiver living with someone and caring for them, you need a break. So it's kind of like on the airplane when they tell you to put your own oxygen mask on first before you can care for others. Let us be that oxygen mask for you. We want you to be able to spend time and enjoy your loved one, not necessarily, oh my gosh, I got to give somebody a shower, I got to cook, or I got to clean, or I have to do the laundry, and you never get that quality time. You take that time because time you don't know from one day to the next what's going to happen. So we want you to make those memories with your loved one. Take pictures, build those memories, learn some skill sets that we can share with you when we're not there, or if you're taking care of them on your own. Just as simple as that hand hold is what Teepa was sharing. Just as simple as putting that towel over them to keep their modesty and their dignity. It really are the little things that make a difference. And that's what we are here for, to make a difference. So join us September 28th. Ask somebody to walk with you. You will not walk alone. You show up and let us know. We'll let you know. We also have ways that we can come together, and you can ride the metro down if you need a ride. There's ways of getting transportation down there. Please join us to make a difference for Alzheimer's. We want to keep your loved ones at home. You get that one-on-one care. By donating to this cause, it's going to make a difference for someone. So
who are here, thank you again for joining us. We'll see you again next time.
At Visiting Angels, we're committed to enriching the lives of elders and their significant others. Our monthly coffee chat sessions aim to make your lives easier and better by providing quality information from our expert panelists. We're here to elevate your quality of life, offer practical wisdom, and ensure you have access to valuable insights. See you again next third Wednesday of the month.